to be successful. So I guess to live your life in a positive manner, you would have to start where you begun and try to eliminate those specific things that are holding you back and really reflect deeply on what's holding me back. And you could start from your childhood or your family, the things that deep inside are embedded in you, that you got from your mother, that you got from your father. So you learn everything, the good and the bad, from your mom and dad. Just like if you have kids now, they learn your good and your bad. So going back and addressing what mom and dad did to you in a negative way, and not being resentful or like not being resentful or like bitter, but addressing those real things that happened to me when I was a child, and then how is that affecting me now today? And should that continue to affect me in the future? Should I allow that to continue to affect me in the future? Once you identify those small things that your mom and your dad did to you way back when, specifically, then you can inside address those issues. But if you don't really get deep inside and address those, you can't really go further. You have to, forgive yourself for the things that your parents taught you that you didn't really understand that you were taught, that are kind of deep and embedded inside you, so that when you actually bring those to the forefront and like address those, and forgive yourself for those things, you can move forward. So I think most importantly, to live in a positive manner, you have to go where you came from. And where you came from is from your parents, and certain things you learned just watching them live, and they're affecting your everyday life. Like when I went back there, I noticed that those things affected me a certain way. And I had 3 brothers and a sister. They affected those individuals differently because we're different. And like even addressing those, and then you take it to there, like what did my brothers and sisters do to me and how did they affect me? And then just reflecting, and then you can identify those things and you can use them as a force. Now they're a tool, because what didn't kill you made you stronger. And that's what you can take to the future with you, is that didn't kill me, it made me stronger. That negativity, I saw that, but now I have a choice whether I want to go down that path or not go down that path. So I think the most important thing you have to do is go where you started from, and then change those habits, turn those around, turn them into successful things for yourself that you can use for success. I think that everything you've been through that somebody else hasn't makes you stronger. So somebody that was in the perfect family, in the perfect life, and had a silver spoon or was privileged, they're per se, good at a lot of things, but they can't be good at being damaged. They can't be good at being betrayed. And someone that betrays you at that high of a level, your mom, your dad, even if they did it unintentionally, that makes you strong. That makes you better, just going to address that and move forward in the future. And then, it's easy. Like I write in a journal since I was 20. I write in that journal. I reflect in that journal. And you just have to practice reflecting. You're never going to have success if you don't go back and look at what you used to do for success. You're never going to have success if you don't go back and look at the mistakes you made and say why. And and understand that you're only going to be good at certain things. God made you good at certain things. And if you try to be good at everything, you'll fail. You're going to be good at what he gave you. And what's for good for them and good for her and good for him, that's not for you. Find out what's for you, and then go at that directly. Go at that specifically. You don't try to be good at everything. If you want to be successful, you got to not try to be good at everything. Simplifying those things, and then finding out what works for you individually. I think that's the most important thing you have to do within oneself to be positive and successful, to move forward.
That's how you keep yourself going in a positive direction?
Definitely. Understanding who I am and where I want to go.
And how do you maintain it in times of struggle?
I think in times of struggle, it always is going to be a challenge, because you revert back to bad habits in times of struggle. But I think you have to remember, yeah, I think you have to have things that you do to refresh you, to remind you. And I constantly remind myself or constantly build myself up with positive people or positive things on a consistent basis. This world is geared to beat you down. No one wants to believe in you. You tell someone you want to do this big thing, and they'll tell you, "Nah, you're not smart enough. You're not good enough." Everyone will judge you in a specific way. So I think to keep yourself motivated, be careful what you listen to, and and mind yourself of your self-talk. The most important thing I've ever heard in my whole life was, what you say to you is the most important. If you don't talk to you good, no one else will. So a lot of times, naturally, you'll hear me say good things about me. Like these things that I say to myself on a consistent basis, I find that people dislike me a lot because I'm always talking to myself in a good manner. Because inside, I talk to myself in a good manner. I tell myself I'm great. I tell myself I'm a beast. I tell myself that I'm great all the time. So I constantly remind myself of the things that I've accomplished and the things that I've done in this 5'5" body that others couldn't do in 6-foot bodies or 7-foot bodies. I constantly find things that I can, focus on that make me feel bigger and better and badder. And that deep embedded in me is that little man syndrome. But I also know that I've accomplished things that no one can accomplish right here at 5'5", 190 pounds. A lot of people haven't done that. So continuing to remember the good things I've done, the wins I've had throughout my life is how I maintain that. I don't forget. Every time you need a constant reminder of when you're in the middle of it, like what makes you, how'd you get here? What makes you special? And I think that remembering the mountains that you've climbed, whether it be getting through high school and you didn't think you could, or getting the degree you didn't think you could get, or dominating the job you didn't forget, or breaking your arm and coming back from being 135 pounds and playing college football. Whatever you did, you can find specific examples of moments where you didn't think you could go forward and you didn't think you were going to win, and you did win. And one of my best things that I always say is your worst moment is your greatest moment. If you remember your worst moment, you were crying, you were sad, you were hurting, but that moment, you've already overcome it because you're here today. And then that next moment, the same thing. There's probably 4 big moments in my life where I didn't think anything, maybe I didn't even want to go forward. And I remember those moments in times of struggle because I know things have been worse than this. And if you remember that things have been worse than this in a time, it might take you some time to get there because you don't see the picture when you're in the frame. But you have to remember those times that you didn't think you could move forward, that you didn't think you could get through it, that you didn't think you could get over her, that you didn't think you could get through this moment with this family. You didn't think that you could move forward in this life, and you're here and you did it. So remembering those moments is a maintenance too. Sometimes it'll take you a little bit to get there because you're struggling. You don't remember how strong you are when you're having a weak moment. So I think reflection is definitely key there.
And what separates winning from losing?
I heard the greatest thing the other day is a winner is a loser that tried one more time. And, I told that to my Pop Warner kids. I had to share that with them because, you can't lose until you quit. So as long as you don't quit, you didn't lose. And you're not dead, obviously. So as long as you didn't quit, you didn't lose. So I think separating winning from losing is understanding that every loss is why winning feels so good. And every loss that you have is like a part of winning. And like, you should be motivated. I back in the day, I used to get off on it takes 10 no's to get to a yes. So I would use that with the ladies. Like, if I got a no, 9 more no's and I'm going to get a yes. So I would just continue to be, have a short-term memory, which is, football terminology, and understand that winning's coming. All you have to do is keep going. All you have to do is keep pushing. And if it's for you, you shall have it. And sometimes even if it's not for you, you shall have it. But maybe that's not what you should have. But that's a different topic. I would say, separating losing from winning is using the loss to win. That's the separation. And that should motivate you at the same time, help you understand that this loss is only temporary and I can move forward to get the win.
All right. That's all the questions.
That's pretty good. That was actually better than I thought it was going to be.